This is the Wing Woman Show. Are you ready? You are listening to the Wing Woman Show, and this is your host, Morgan Bars. This week at Wing Woman HQ, we finally turned 1. I feel like I have been talking about it for so long, but I actually got the date wrong, and it happened yesterday, so I feel like a horrible business mom because I didn't remember when my business baby, Wing Woman, was turning 1. So today I celebrated with some Buddy Brew coffee and breakfast, and I wrote myself a little letter to open up next year because I am very into kind of like time capsules and just cherishing different moments. So that is how I spent the very first day of year number 2 at Wing Woman. I feel like in many ways it felt like a really, really long time. That could be because of the pandemic, but that's a good thing. So I'm glad it felt like such a very long first year. It's been very exciting. Today on the podcast, we have 2 incredible founders from the Tampa Bay area. They're working on a bra company, and we're going to learn more about that. I'm going to have them explain all the details because it's going to be exciting to catch up with them. They originally started at the University of Tampa there when I was a student there. So I'm excited to see where they're at now. And this is also my very first podcast episode where I'm going to have 2 guests on at the same time, which is a first and very exciting. So without further ado, let's roll into today's episode. But let's start from the very beginning. And you guys were actually my very first podcast interview with 2 guests. So it's like double the fun. So I'll let you both just introduce yourself briefly before we kind of roll into how you met, what you're doing now, and all of that good stuff.
Awesome. I can go first if that works.
Yes.
I'm Ellery Linder. I'm one of the co-founders and co-CEOs of Wherewithal, and I have the best partner in the whole entire world, Danielle.
Oh my gosh, I could not do this without you. And my name is Danielle Rushton, so I am also the other co-founder and co-CEO of Wherewithal, a new bra company that we're so excited to be talking to you about today, Morgan.
So fun. Yeah, because I was saying in the intro too when I was recording that I first came about like what you guys were working on when you were at UT, and you were was it called Fruitful? Is that how you Fruitful? Fruitful. And you had the cutest setup. Like if you guys were at an expo, it would be, for everyone listening who maybe didn't know, it would be like a fruit stand, which is so cute, especially for a bra company.
That was like, okay, first of all, I told Ellery about this idea for a fruit stand. Her mother-in-law has a she shed. She whipped this fruit stand up for us. Like, let's talk about like women empowerment. Everybody we have worked with is just incredible. So she made this fruit stand come to life. And the idea of Fruitful was really, again, just positioning a bra company in a different way. Right now, it's either very sexy or kind of boring. There's really no in between. And so what we wanted to do was just give a different perspective of a bra company that people can get excited about. It doesn't have to be this like mundane task, and it doesn't have to make you feel bad on the other hand either. So that was the idea with Fruitful. And then we had a few trademark issues that kind of challenged us to look a bit deeper and really think about, what are we doing this for? And Wherewithal is a play on wherewithal things, but by definition, it's the tools or resources or support necessary to do whatever it is you're doing. And our perspective is really like the bra is the least interesting thing about anybody who is wearing it. It's just a tool that you use to get dressed and go about your day. And so that's kind of the name shift, but it was a long identity crisis when we came between Fruitful and Wherewithal. So we love the name now.
I think saying goodbye to the fruit stand was one of the hardest things.
Oh my gosh,
I just did.
Yeah, to share a funny story about the fruit stand, I remember, so Danielle is the one who like had this amazing concept of like, how do we make our selves stand out?
Right.
We were attending really more of like a tech show, and we're you know, a physical good, and so we were like, how do we like really capture people's attention and like do it in a different way? And Danielle's like, we're going to build a fruit stand. So we had the help of my mother-in-law, who's amazing and talented. And I will just never forget when we like set up this fruit stand and we had this like big giant neon pink sign that said Fruitful. We were like right in the front as soon as you would walk into the show. And we had so many people come up to our fruit stand and they're like, oh, are you guys building like ag tech? What are you guys doing? And we're like, ha, gotcha. We're a bra company.
So like,
That keeps things so fun though. And I remember, well, you probably know Sarah Blakely, her husband, Jesse Itzler, when he was doing the coconut water, he talked about like all these fun ways that he stood out. Like he ran a marathon or something dressed as the can. And it's like fun things like that just keep things interesting. And I feel like it, as entrepreneurs, like there's so many ups and downs. It keeps you like involved, especially for both of you. Like you're both so passionate and it keeps it like interesting.
Totally. And I think, you know, we'll get to this, but Ellery and I met at the Home Shopping Network, and it was a great place to start my career. That's where I started. But being around fashion and marketing and technology and creative and photo shoots and all of this stuff, it was exciting, but it wasn't quite it for me. Like I just knew I wasn't as fulfilled as I thought I would be in that role. And so something that we wanted to do was just create a company that people want to work for. Like we want this to be fun. We want this to be exciting. We want people to be excited about what we're doing every day because we're living our lives not to work and die. Like we want to bring like passion to everybody who touches our product, whether it's a customer or an employee. So
100%.
That's really like what Ellery and I tried to, you know, we're a startup. We just onboarded our first full-time hire outside of the two of us, but she's just as passionate as the two of us, and that's the team that we're hoping to build.
Of course, yeah. So let's walk back to when you were at HSN, and Ellery, I'll let you start. Like what originally brought you to HSN, and like where did you think you were going at that point in your life? Because I know you didn't set out to actually come together, start a company, all of this. So what first brought you to HSN?
So my career background was sort of interesting. I actually started off in publishing. So I was up in New York for a few years. I worked for Food Network magazine, and I very much thought that was my like end all be all dream job. And while I loved it, I loved being in the city, but I didn't see myself staying in New York long term. And so I decided to go to culinary school while I was working. I did that in the evenings, and I thought, you know, okay, maybe there's something there, that kind of common thread of food. And then I quickly realized that I was probably not cut out for hospitality either, though it gave me so much respect, I think, for people in that industry and what they do. And it gave me a little street cred. But then I was like, okay, if it's not hospitality and it's not publishing, like how does this kind of continue in my career, this idea of being in the culinary space? And so that's when I found HSN. I'm originally from Florida, but I lived out of state for about 6 years, and I was kind of looking to come back, and they just happened to have a spot open on their e-commerce team that was in the culinary category. So that's how I ended up in retail. My family has a background in retail, but I never in a million years, I think, you know, thought I would end up here. I think I kind of subtly, maybe subconsciously fought against it. And then, of course, that's where I landed. I totally fell in love with e-commerce. And then I ended up transitioning, and I covered all of the brand marketing side of the culinary industry there. So got to launch some cool brand partnerships with HSN and companies like Food and Wine. It was a really exciting time, like learning how to truly build brands. But I met Danielle there. Dan, do you want to we met in a really funny place. Do you want to tell the story?
It's funny because, so I don't know if I told you this, Ellery, but in my interview, like when I was interviewing for my position at HSN, one of the interviewers asked me, where do I want to go? Like, what's my dream from here? And I said, Nike or Food Network. And so then once I was in the ether of HSN, I found out that Ellery came from Food Network. And I was like, I'm obsessed with her. And then she was just like a queen. Like we were both in e-commerce, but she was on the Home Hub, which was culinary, home, and electronics. And so we were two parts of the same whole, but HSN had different complexes, so I didn't get to see her much. And then there was a position that opened on her team, and I was like, oh, I'm going to interview for this because I need to know her and I need to be on her team. And there was always a light about her that I was attracted to. And it's not happens. It's like, because she was obviously, we were meant to be business partners beyond like working on the same team. But that's how we met. And then sparks like flew in that interview, and we kind of just kept in touch. And she was the first and only person at HSN I told about this when I had started, and I didn't even intend to. We just went to lunch one day, and it just came out, and she resonated so deeply with it. And she said she wanted to be a customer, but what's so funny is that when I got the sample for the first time, one of my first prototypes, we were both at the mall, didn't know. And she was walking out of Zara, and I was walking into Zara, and I was like, Ellery, I have my first prototype. Do you want to try it on? And we went.
Oh my gosh.
Room, and she tried it on, and that was before we were even business partners at the time. So
what the heck?
Meant to be, for sure.
I'm like so glad we're documenting all these stories for when you like blow up and become the next Spanx. So we have all these little stories documented. That is incredible. So when did you come up with the actual bra idea before you originally like even told anyone about it?
So I think it was like September of 2017, but really I've always been a very creative person. I always wanted to be an artist, but then when I was younger, but you can't really make money being an artist. So then I was like, all right, well, what can you do? And then in 4th grade is when I started wearing a bra, and that was the peak of my tomboy phase. So that wasn't exactly ideal. And I started kind of disassociating from my breasts. And what we found is it's a very intimate moment, either when you have to start wearing a bra or what that experience, that journey is with a woman in her development. And so over time, I started to appreciate fashion because of the creative expression that can be shown with what you wear. And so what I found, though, at the same time is that fashion and style is very limited based on size. And so as size goes up, style tends to go down, and you can't wear things that you want to wear. It doesn't mean, like, I would just accept that I could never wear a backless shirt. And if I was wearing something that showed any body part, it was off the shoulder, just because the strapless bra would at least kind of stay up. And so then I bought an extra large bathing suit that was about 2 sizes too small, made for ants, all the things. And I was like, if this style is fine, if it just had the appropriate amount of fabric, I could wear it. And so at that point, I bought a sewing machine and started teaching myself how to sew. I made a few different bathing suit tops. They were kind of like, don't look at the seams, but they were doable. Like,
they were amazing, actually. I was like, where'd you get your suit?
We'll bring those back when we do like a vintage like show. But I started making bathing suits, and then just my creativity, I wanted to make other garments. And what I found was everything had a like bust supportive element to it. And then it dawned on me that, wait, there's an entire industry that is meant to be that bust supporting element, and it's just not cutting it. So I had this idea for a backless bra at first, and then I was like, okay, what about strapless bras? Because I wear off-the-shoulder shirts all the time. How can we keep a strapless bra in place? And I went home that day, I chopped up 2 of my bras, and I sewed them together, and we still have it. We call it the Franken bra.
Oh my
it's amazing. And so the next day, what happened was the next day I wore it. This was just me solving an issue for myself. But it's like when you step out on your purpose, the universe will start to like whisper in your ear and give you little hints. And so that day, every podcast I was listening to, every social media meme or like on Twitter, everyone was talking about how strapless bras are like the bane of their existence. And I was like, wait, is this a me problem or is this a we problem? Like, are we all hating our strapless bras? And so I posted in this Facebook group asking if other women felt the same way, and the response was just overwhelming. There was over 300 comments and likes of women just saying, I don't know my bra size, I've never been able to wear certain things. If you could make a bra that would actually fit me, that would be incredible. And so kind of dawned on me that this is a much bigger issue, and now it's a responsibility to kind of bring it to the world. And after that, I went and got a provisional patent, and then I went to New York to start prototyping, and I had told Ellery about it as soon as I think I went to New York. And all my friends who I told at the time, they were like, cute idea. And so I was like, okay, I'm done telling anyone about this, because, you know, it takes a lot for people to take things seriously, which is fine. And when an idea is so vulnerable, Sarah Blakely talks about this a lot, but she says when it's so vulnerable, like, keep it to yourself, because people will like bash it into you maybe not doing anything with it. And the reason people don't understand your vision and your ideas, because it wasn't meant for them. It was meant for you. So when I kind of kept it into this lockbox of my heart, working on it, my dad was helping me. My mom was kind of supportive, but my dad had worked in the fashion industry a little bit too. So we were working on it. And then just, again, this light about Ellery, just something about her, I felt safe telling her. And she was the first one who was like, wow, I picked my wedding dress based on the bra that I was going to wear. And I was like, I wasn't even telling people that part of, like, we let our bras kind of dictate our outfit options because we have to. And so when she said that, I was like, okay, she gets it. She's on board. And so I got to like our 5th prototype, and it was nowhere near ready, but I was like, at this point, I don't know what else to do. I think I'm going to have to launch it. And Ellery was like, you cannot launch this bra. And I had left HSN in May. And so then over summer, I was working at Ellery's house on nights and weekends. And then she left to pursue this full time with me shortly thereafter.
So when was the moment? Oh, wait, I think, Danielle, you might have to turn your volume on your computer down a little. I think it's a little echoey. But Ellery, when was the first time that you decided, like, oh, I'm not going to be just a customer. I want to be something a little more in this?
I love that question. Never in a million years did I ever think I would be on this startup journey. I had a breast reduction after college, and so I'm pretty petite, I'm pretty short. I've always had a really large cup size, and it was something I was teased about endlessly. I had always been self-conscious about. In college, I started to get pretty serious migraines. I stopped kind of doing things that I really loved to do. I grew up being on stage and doing dance and in the theater, and I think I started to kind of I just sank more and more into myself the more conscious I became of just how much of a hindrance I felt my cup size was. And so I had a breast reduction, and, going through that experience, it certainly gave me a lot more confidence in my body and how I felt about myself. But I was so shocked that the problem of fit still persisted. I think I truly thought that I was going in one size, coming out another size, bada boom, bada bing. That was going to be perfect, and I was going to fit in everything across the board after that. That was certainly not the case. And, when Danielle started telling me about this idea, I remember actually, like, the moment I was sitting on the table and I had my hands kind of like this, like down on the table, and I started to get goosebumps. And I remember stopping Danielle and being like, I really understand what you're saying. I was like, I get it. Look at my arm. And she's like, okay. And, it was one of those things, I think, sort of kind of out of a selfish reason. I was like, how can I help you? How can I try this product on? Because I was like, I need this product. In fact, I remember the very first time I wore a strapless bra after my breast reduction. Like, I don't actually think I had ever worn a strapless bra until then. And I remember walking outside, and I was wearing like a spaghetti strap top, and I was like, I'm naked. I was like, this is so crazy, like the wind against my shoulders. And even then, I still have that strapless bra in my closet. It really is like a memento, because I remember thinking, like, this thing fits.
Right. It probably felt so good.
It was, it was definitely a moment on a personal like journey kind of experience, but I just knew, I think the over time, I was really kind of there to just like help try on and give honest feedback. And I don't know, it just grew from there. It grew pretty quickly, I will say. I mean, it was really like a matter of months, and we were at a great, I think, it was a great influx for both of us. Our company was going through a transition at that time. And so we were both, I think, looking for change in our careers. And so it was really the stars aligned, and it ended up being great timing. Actually, 2 or 3 weeks after I left, there was a big round of layoffs. And I remember thinking, wow, like, there's something very serendipitous about this kind of timing. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty quick. I mean, like Danielle had such a clear vision of what she was building product wise. And I was ready to really challenge myself in a new way. And so it ended up being, part of it was timing. I think part of it's a little bit of luck. And part of it too was I think Danielle and I looked at each other, and, she had been kind of doing some of this research already on her own, but we were like, if we have these problems, like, this is a we problem, like exactly what you said earlier, Danielle. It felt very isolating for a very, very long time to think you were just kind of the only one going through it, because we don't really talk about our bras that much as women. Or if we do, it's like, oh, my bra is so uncomfortable or annoying, or painful. And then we kind of like leave it at that. I don't think I've ever had a conversation with anybody who's been like, oh man, I'm wearing the best bra ever. You guys, I can't wait to tell you about it. So, I think I remember when I told my parents about leaving and pursuing this full time, and I was like, I'm leaving, my position to start a bra company. And they were like, but you hate bras. And I remember thinking, but doesn't that make us the most qualified people to do it? And it's so true. I mean, Danielle and I are consumers first and foremost, and bra wearers, even above that. And I think we definitely weren't confined by the way that things maybe were supposed to be done, or, there were no kind of boundaries with us. I mean, we were just ready to risk it all. And
yeah.
And it's been the most amazing journey, and I'm lucky to just have the most amazing partner in the world to share it with.
So I feel like for some people, like the process of going from idea to actual like physical product with a partner, and that now you just hired on your like first employee too, like that is such an overwhelming process, even just to take it from idea to actual like holding it in your hands. What has been the most challenging part for you along that journey?
All of it. I think I will say the idea couldn't have been revealed to me until I like went out on my passion of wanting to be like a fashion designer. That wasn't something I ever strived for or tried to do. But eventually after, the bathing suit situation, I was like, I'll just make my own clothes. And once I knew how to make a physical product, that was the bridge that at least definitely propelled me much further if I had this idea without the wherewithal to know how to make a physical prototype, at least so people can see. I have a issue with just like there's so much in my mind, and me trying to explain it is always a little tough. And so I think that was huge, and a huge key of me like starting the prototyping process, then having Ellery get to see something rather than just coming to her with this idea, because maybe she would have said cute, just like my friends before her. But I think since that point, it's what I would say the toughest part has been is breaking into this industry. It's very specialized, and it's very difficult to find the right people who know how to make a bra, because there are so many specialized techniques and components and machines, and just the skill that is required to assemble a bra. There's like 30 components in a bra when there's, I think, about 15 in a pair of denim jeans.
Wow.
So it's just it's engineering, and it's a complex garment. And I didn't know that at the time. So,
right.
But I think just finding the right people to help us take it from a Franken bra to a real beautiful garment that we envisioned this entire time was about 2 years in the making. And
wow.
And I would say mine like definitely piggybacks that. We built out our supply chain last year in the middle of a pandemic, which was, something nobody could have anticipated.
Right.
And, it forced our team to get scrappy really quickly. We've always had, I think, really great people around us who are creative and innovative. And so we learned how to build out a supply chain, prototype, select fabric swatches, do fittings. All of it was done remotely. So
Wow.
I think, it was a true testament to, I really think the resiliency of our team. But it was hard, and we had some people that we were working with who have been in this industry for 20 plus years, and they had never done it like this either. So it was it was such an experience to kind of like all hold hands and go in it together. We just had to learn how to pivot and work around, and we're here. We're finally about to kick off our launch.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you can survive COVID, like that's definitely a good sign before you're even launched. So do you have like an official launch date yet?
We are launching in April. It'll be mid to late April. We don't have a specific date yet, but the best way to learn more about our launch would definitely be to go onto our website. We have an email wait list, so we'll start sending out newsletters a few weeks leading out from launch, and then definitely follow us on social. Those will be the best places to learn more about our launch. We're at Shop Wherewithal on that's our website and our social media handles. But yeah, you guys are kind of just hearing it first. It'll be April officially. So we're really excited.
Yeah, I mean, that is huge. So I don't even think that we talked about like how Wherewithal is different than a typical bra. Yeah, we haven't even talked about that yet. So kind of give us like the rundown of how this bra is so different than anything else right now.
So basically our design, I just kind of thought about this, but the bra industry kind of gaslights us and is always saying like 80% of women are wearing the wrong bra size. And in any other industry, like that's a product flaw. So like worry about yourself, fix your design. Like this is a you problem. So really we came into the design in a way that allows freedom for our customer to personalize her fit. So we have an adjustable back band on our bra that will allow our customer to adjust her bra to co-create her own size. And through that, one of our bras is the equivalent to 3 traditional bra sizes today. So we've simplified the bra sizing system as far as like SKUs and size options, but also the process to get your bra size correct. All you need is your measurements, your under bust measurement and your fullest bust measurement, and then we've created kind of a sizing algorithm that will spit out your size set, is what we're calling them. It's a set of sizes and you can adjust it, and truly your measurements will fall within one of our size sets. So we're taking out the guesswork and the confusion, and we're allowing, it's less us trying to label you and tell you what size you are, and more you defining that for yourself. So
yeah, and I love that too, because a lot of times you might be like in between sizes, especially with clothes. Like during the holiday season, you might need to loosen it up a little during Thanksgiving, and then so that is so incredible, because like bras too can be so expensive. So if you are in between sizes and you're having to buy like different sizes, test them all out, that is incredible.
Thank you.
To simplify, I think too, like what Danielle was saying, where there's kind of like it really boils down to like 2 issues, and those 2 issues then really kind of boil down to the way that bras are designed themselves. So on one hand, it's really confusing to find your size. Like I don't know if you've ever been sized or fitted into a store, but like I remember, like, I've walked into a store before where I was like wearing a puffy winter coat and like people were saying, and I was like, do I need to take this off? And they're like, nah, you're good. So I'm like, well, there's no way this is right. And it's done differently at different companies, at different stores, different individuals do it differently. So it's already really challenging to find your bra size. Plus there's like math involved and nobody wants to sit around trying to figure out their size, like doing math equations, and like, it's a mess. And so there's that issue of it. And then there's, you know, in so many cases, I think in the past there was, you know, there was a limited amount of sizes that were offered and that were available. And while I think we're starting to see a lot more inclusivity in the industry, which is definitely like what needs to happen, there's also, on the flip side of that, this paradox of choice, right? When like a customer is presented with too much, it becomes very overwhelming. And again, confusing, like, well, I don't know, I've been wearing this size my whole life. Am I this size or this size or this size? So we were like, you know, it's so funny. Like Danielle was just really trying to create a strapless bra that was going to stay in place, like not become a bra belt. And it became so much more than that. I remember like looking at this bra and Danielle was like, okay, now how do we size this? And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about bra sizing. And it, you know, I think that was one of the beautiful discoveries on this journey, was that, you know, there was so much more that we could do by just changing the inherent design of the garment itself.
Wow. So I'm going to make sure to link everything down below for your launch. But I feel like this podcast episode is kind of for documentation purposes too. So tell us where you see the company going in the next couple of years, or what your ultimate vision is for it.
I'll let you say.
Okay. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we want to create a company that lasts far beyond the two of us. And really our ultimate goal is, you know, intimate apparel is something that oftentimes does not feel intimate. And we really want to create this shift of away from intimate apparel and towards personal apparel. And I think right now, you know, the only way to do that really with bras is to get something created, you know, that's bespoke for you. And that's expensive and time consuming, and it's not scalable. And so to be able to create a product that's designed so that our customer can actually be in control of her size, you know, we don't want to chase perfection. I think that there's such a bad still such a bad emphasis on perfection in our industry, like perfect body or perfect look or perfect fit. You know, we believe the perfect fit is really a feeling, and it should be based on a preferred fit. So for us, if we can create a garment that, you know, and a company that lasts far beyond the two of us, that helps women feel empowered and inspired and excited, that's really the end goal. I mean, there are definitely companies we love and admire and, you know, I think look up to as we model our own company, but, you know, mine's a little more meta than that. It's more of like, you know, we want to create something really, really, really long lasting.
Totally. And just exactly what Ellery said about perfection and perfect fit, and us believing that what is perfect is truly what feels right to you and what feels best for you, and what feels good is what we should strive for. Like when we feel anxious or when we feel stressed or depressed, like we know that we're not doing the things that feel good for us. And it's like, even with your bra size, I hope this transcends far beyond, you know, your bra size and into your daily life. Like when something doesn't feel right anymore, you have the power to change it, so long as you step into that power and do something with it. And I think exactly what you said about just this preferred fit, this feeling that is yours to decide and yours to control. We want this to be a garment of self-connection. And so hopefully we take this industry that was very ornamental and change it into something that's more instrumental, because this is part of the process. We put our bra on one boob at a time and we go about our day, and we create magic. And that is the thing that we want to show. Women are bra wearers in general are so multifaceted. There's we're so dimensional. There's so many pieces and roles that we play, and we want to tell the story of the women in our bras, and we don't less about her body and what she looks like. And body positivity and inclusivity is what this company was made from. So that's a prerequisite to anything else. And it's just really now, who are you? What do you do? And we want to give the wherewithal as far as a bra goes, but also in resources and in a community of women who maybe someone's interested in how to start a podcast, and Morgan, you're on there telling them how,
right.
and people get to learn from you. And it's the wherewithal to do whatever it is you want to do and what makes you happy and what makes you feel good. So.
And I also feel like it's such a special thing too, because it is a bra and it's so close to the heart that the whole community aspect just flows so well from like from your perspective, like as a branding and business perspective. But holy cow, like that was incredible. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm going to make sure, if you're listening, I'm linking everything down below so that you can directly connect. And you said April, right? Like around April timeframe. So mark it in your calendars. Look out for that email because it's coming.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Morgan.